Moving abroad can be an exciting and life-changing experience, but you gotta make sure that you're financially prepared for the big move. So in this video, I want to talk about how to budget for moving abroad. That way you can plan ahead and enjoy your new home without worrying about financial stress. Hi, I'm Dan. 6 years ago, I packed up my life and moved from Germany all the way to beautiful Australia. I made the decision to move about a year before I actually boarded that plane, and in that year, I saved as much as possible to make sure I wouldn't struggle financially once I'm here. Moving abroad can be really overwhelming. There's so much you need to figure out, from jobs, visas, and where you want to live, and how much money you should have. But don't worry, if you plan ahead and understand all the costs that are involved, you will set yourself up for success and avoid any unnecessary surprises when it comes to money. The first thing you should do is research the cost. There are different types of cost you need to consider for your budget. That includes your moving expenses, the cost of living, and other one-time costs. It's important that you know how much things cost within each of these categories so you can calculate how much you will actually need when you start that life-changing journey. Number one is moving expenses. The name says it. These are all the costs related to the actual move, so all the stuff you most likely will need to pay for before you actually leave your home country. This includes airfares and other tickets, costs for visas or other paperwork such as translations for original documents if you need those. Also shipping costs for your belongings and insurance. Will you be using a moving company, or are you going to be putting some of your stuff into a storage facility that has a cost associated? This will probably require a little bit of research to pull all these costs together, but it's important that you do so and also shop around and compare prices, because in my mind, moving expenses are the costs that you want to spend as little money as possible on, so you will have more money available later for when you actually arrive in your new home country. Number two, cost of living. Before you can determine how much money you need to comfortably start into your new life, you first want to get a good idea of what it actually costs to live in the country of your choice. Now, this can vary dramatically between countries and can be either very similar or also very different to where you come from. For example, if you're going to move to the Philippines or Malaysia, your money will stretch a lot further compared to moving to Canada or the UK. You want to look at all the cost categories such as housing, food, transportation, and entertainment, and all the items included in those, such as rent, food and groceries, costs for personal care, phone and internet bills, electricity and gas, health insurance, important one, public transport, and also activities and going out. There are a few handy tools available that you can use to help you understand what things cost in your country of choice. They are called Numbeo and EXPAT. Not sure if I'm pronouncing them correctly, probably not, but I left the links in the description below so you can check them out. Numbeo gives you a very detailed breakdown of average living expenses across different categories. EXPAT is more high level. However, what you can do with this is that you can put in your home country and also your new home country and compare the cost of living between the two countries, which is really good for fast math. I'd still recommend doing a little bit of research yourself and maybe cross-checking with local government websites to validate those numbers, as they can vary between regions within a country as well. When moving abroad, you may also have one-time costs such as setting up a new bank account or purchasing furniture, a new car or a new computer, or maybe you need a deposit for your new apartment or paying for language classes. Make sure you include all those in your budget, as these can easily add up to a substantial amount. You also want to make sure you factor in unexpected expenses such as medical bills or emergency situations. Once you have a clear understanding of all these costs within each of these categories, you should definitely create a budget to work out the total amount that you need. I would suggest putting it all into a spreadsheet to calculate everything, and make sure you consider the frequency of occurrence for each of those costs. So, is it a one-time cost, or is it fortnightly, monthly, annually. What I tend to do for my monthly budget is I list all my costs based on whether it's fortnightly, monthly, or annual, and then calculate a total for the year and divide it by 12 months to know the amount I need to put aside each month for my bills. That way you've also accounted for those months where you have 3 fortnightly payments, which can really throw you off if you haven't planned for it. For example, in Australia, most people pay rent every 2 weeks, so you could think it's just 2 payments per month, but about 2 or 3 times a year, there comes a month where there are 3 payments, and if you pay, let's say, $500 a week, for rent, it's easily another $1,000 you haven't planned for. Another example is you may have purchased an annual license for a software and maybe you have multiple of these annual payments coming up in 1 month. And if you haven't planned for it throughout the year and sort of saved up a little bit every month for those payments, it can easily surprise you.
No! God, please, no! No!
If you're interested in how I budget and how I set up my budget sheet, let me know in the comments below and I can make a video about that and walk you through my monthly budgeting in more detail. So, once you worked out how much money you need to set aside to cover your monthly living expenses in the new country, you can plan what type of runway you want to have. And by runway, I mean how many months of living expenses do you want to have saved up in your bank account before you actually move. Your financial cushion, basically. So how long do you want to be able to live off of your savings before you need to get a job? Aside from the moving expenses and the one-time costs we talked about earlier, my recommendation would be to save up 3 to 6 months of living expenses. I had 4 months saved up when I moved. This will give you enough time to find your bearings and also experience your new environment, as that's most likely the reason why you moved there in the first place. Now, all that's left to do is save, save, save. Now that you know how much money you will need, it's all about building up your savings, and you want to really go hard on this because remember, the more you have saved up, the easier the start into your new life will be. Some things I'd recommend you do are allocate a fixed amount from your monthly salary and put it into a separate savings account. Do that as soon as you get paid so it doesn't get used for anything else. Next up is sell your stuff, so your books, your furniture, tech. I ended up selling almost everything I owned and I realized that I wasn't really attached to any of it. All I cared about was my photos on my hard drive, and honestly that was really freeing. For your birthdays and Christmases, ask your family and friends to gift you money so that you can put it away into your savings account. And you can also, get a job in the gig economy to build up some cash, something like Uber Eats or Deliveroo or rideshare jobs, you name it. You can also get a part-time job that you can do on the weekend. You should also scale back on your expenses, so cut back a few subscriptions, don't order takeaway too often, don't spend too much money going out on the weekends. It all adds up. And lastly, you could start sharing your journey on social media and maybe you can grow an audience and earn some money online. That can be a long process though, so it might not give you anything in the short term, but I wish I had documented my moving journey more, not only to start building an audience sooner, but also to have these memories to look back on later. I'm actually thinking about creating a series for how to get started with creating content online as an expat. Let me know in the comments whether you'd want to see that. I know everything I said may sound really overwhelming and like quite a big task, but don't be scared. You can absolutely do it. If I did it, you can do it too. Moving countries is an incredibly exciting journey that will lead to so much growth and to so many amazing experiences. I'm not saying that there won't be moments of hardship, there will be, but at least by following the steps we talked about here in this video, you're doing your best that money struggles aren't going to be one of them. And if money ends up running out sooner than expected, you can always go out and find a job and start earning. As I said earlier, I had 4 months worth of living expenses saved up when I arrived, but I started getting really nervous after 2 weeks already. Australia is really expensive, and if you see money going out every day in big chunks without knowing when you'll have an income again, it can be really scary. Just follow your savings plan and do your best leading up to the move. I can't say enough how nice it is not to worry about finding a job as soon as you arrive. You can actually ease into your new environment, and also enjoy your new home a little bit before you jump into the job market. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you are an expat and have any other savings tips, leave them in the comments below so we can help our fellow expat friends. And if you want me to talk about anything else about my expat journey, definitely let me know as well, and I'm happy to help. If you want to know what it's like to move abroad in your 30s like I did, check out the video over here. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe if you want to stick around, and I will see you over there. Thanks again and take care.